Okay, so this is problem 1.4.61 asked over email, and they want us to solve by completing the square. And so solving by completing the square, the first thing that we're going to do is take the constant term to the other side. It's already there, so we don't have to do that step. The next thing we're going to do is make the coefficient of our x squared a 1. So I need to divide everything by 12. And I'm going to have x squared plus 17 over 12x equals 7/12. Okay. The next step is to take the coefficient of our x term, which is 17/2. This is the third step in the process. We're going to take that 17/12 and multiply it by 1/2. Okay, so that's going to give us 17 over 24. And then the next step is to take that 17 over 24 and square it. And this number, the result from this square, is going to be what we add to both sides of the equation. Okay? So 17 squared is 289, and 24 squared is 576. Okay, so this number is going to get added to both sides of the equation. So it's going to look like this. X squared plus 17 over 12x plus 289 over 576, and that's equal to 7 over 12 plus the 289 over 576. Now we have to add this to both sides because we need to keep this balanced. So if I add something over here, I have to add it over here to compensate. Okay, now this would be very not fun to try and factor, very difficult, but it turns out that there's a trick. This is always going to factor into x plus or minus whatever this number is, including the sign. So since this is positive, it's x plus 17 over 24 and then squared. So this result right here from step 3 of this process is important to us because that number is going to be what goes in here. And when we're dealing with these big fractions, it's really important that we know what that is. Okay. And then on this side, we need to get a common denominator. So 576, I'm pretty sure, is divisible by 12. So we're going to, 576 here is our common denominator. So I'm going to take 7 over 12 and multiply by 48 over 48 to get a common denominator. Okay. All right, so this becomes 7 times 48 is 336 over 576 plus 289 over 576. And this is equal to x plus my 17 over 24, whole thing squared. Okay. So just rewrite that. This is x plus 17 over 24 squared, and I'm going to go ahead and collect like terms here. We have 336 and 289, so that gives me 625 over 576. Okay. Now, at this point, the whole point of completing the square is so that you can get this thing into a quantity squared form, and then at this point use our square root to take the square root of both sides. Okay, so when you take the square root of something squared, out pops that thing. So this just becomes x plus 17 over 24. And on this side, the square root of 625, I'm pretty sure that's a perfect square. Don't know what it is off the top of my head. It's 25, and 576 should be 24 because I think that's what it came from. Let's just check it. Yep, so 25 over 24 is what this becomes. And it's plus or minus because we've taken the square root of this. So the next thing I'm going to do is move this 17 over 24 to the other side. And we're looking at having negative 17 over 24 plus or minus 25 over 24. Now that actually becomes two different things. It becomes negative 17 over 24 plus 25 over 24. And then it's also negative 17 over 24 minus. So we're going to separate the plus or minus to finish the problem. Okay, so the negative 17 plus 25 is going to give us a positive 8 over 24, which reduces to be 1/3. And then negative 17 minus 25, 25 plus 17, so 42, and this is negative 42 over 24. And that's also going to reduce. Let's see, 6 goes in, I believe. 6 goes into both of them. Negative 7 and 4. Yep. So that would be it in the reduced form. So your answers here would be x equals 1/3 and negative 7/4. And let's see, I think they may, oops, 1/3, negative 7/4. They may ask you specifically, they ask you to use a comma to separate. Yeah, that's it. So you can put it in whatever order you want, just make sure you enter a comma in order to separate them. Okay, that's it.